Welcome to Module 203A on Principles of Automatic Heating and Cooling Circuits. Our next objective is to look at electrical diagrams of heating and cooling systems and become familiarized with their symbologies. My heating and cooling electrical drawings utilize both schematics and wiring diagrams, and all the devices I find on my schematics should also be found somewhere on my wiring diagrams. Keep in mind, we still have to utilize all of our initial drawing standards. We have to make sure that we identify all the devices with labels. We have to make sure that we label the relay contacts to show which coil operates them. We always show our devices in a de-energized state with no external forces, meaning no heat and no pressure. And with my schematic diagrams, all my controls are on the left, all my loads are on the right. The schematic diagrams are there to show the logical operation of devices and their electrical relationships, whereas my wiring diagrams are there to show the physical relationship of the devices and the wiring between them. All the devices on the schematic should be located on the wiring diagram, but keep in mind the schematic symbols and the wiring diagram symbols can vary by quite a bit. Make sure you are studying the graphic on the screen inside your module so that you understand what each of those symbols are going to do. We have new symbols that are specific to heating and cooling that you should be aware of. We have the gas valve, a solenoid coil, a heater element, an igniter element, and a hot surface igniter. We also still have our relays and magnetic contactors, and keep in mind that we should be labeling the schematic to show the relationship. A coil device would be a load, and the contacts would be control. Figure 15 in your module also shows a magnetic coil and a contact in a wiring diagram aspect. You can see the relationship between the contact and the coil itself since they are both grouped together. When it comes to power source symbols for our schematic and our wiring diagrams, we still have our transformers as well as our circuit breakers and our fuse. Some new symbols are going to be for the thermopile or the power pile as well as the thermocouple. Be aware how they are shown on a schematic compared to how they are shown inside a wiring diagram. This is an example of a typical wiring and schematic diagram that we would find from Lennox heating units. On the top left of the page, we have our wiring diagram. Take note that any of my field wiring is also represented here. My notes on the right-hand side of the page tell me that my 120 volt wiring should be solid black and my 24 volt wiring should be a dashed line. But that's all my field wiring that I need to install. Everything else would be internal wiring. Take a look at the schematic diagram on the bottom of the page and try to relate some of those components that you see there with the same components in the wiring diagram at the top of the page. Pause the video and take a good look at these. You have now reached the end of this objective. Review your module, complete the knowledge check, and then continue on to the next video.